Pravin Gordhan announced earlier this year that he would retire from politics after the 2024 national elections. Gordhan racked up struggle credentials, having been an anti-apartheid activist, which involved him working underground with organizations like the ANC and the SACP, even doing some jail time as well.
Growing up in Durban, one can't but always have heard of Pravin Gordhan. He's been a figure that has been part of the political rumblings over the years. We've been aware of him even during those years when the ANC was banned in the 80s, and he was known as someone that had a pharmacy in what was the Indian part of Durban during the apartheid days, and so was quite well known in political circles.
Gordhan served in several key roles from the Nelson Mandela administration through to President Cyril Ramaphosa's sixth administration. After being appointed as the Commissioner of SARS in November 1999, he made a significant mark, using the resources around him, including human capital, to modernize the national tax collector and make it a serious revenue-generating machine.
I think the biggest impact of Mr. Pravin Gordhan was building SARS that became a formidable and globally recognized revenue and customs administration that produced good fiscal results, exceeding revenue targets, and increasingly played a positive role to enable other government departments and assist functions across government.
Gordhan became vocal during President Jacob Zuma's presidential term about state capture, which likely had something to do with him being booted out of the finance ministry in March 2017. In 2018, he was directed to head the Ministry of Public Enterprises, a portfolio which has seemingly been a headache from beginning to end. Those in his corner argue that Gordhan is the same man now as he was when he took up the reins at SARS in terms of his inclination to serve the public, not tolerating corruption and demanding excellence from his subordinates, saying that the task he'd been given to turn around many of the assets at the DPE was a tall order.
We know from the evidence before the Zondo Commission what had happened at Eskom. The same was true at Transnet. So the first year, 18 months to 2 years, Transnet and Eskom in particular, you had to appoint credible boards, you had to get rid of the corrupt or people deeply implicated in corruption, and these were senior executives. I think 2 CEOs are now facing criminal charges for their terms at Transnet and Eskom, together with other C-suite positions. So the institutional decay was there. And obviously, in time, it would lead to a decline in operational performance. So you as a minister, you are handed this portfolio, and the expectations are, with a magic wand, you're going to turn them around. It doesn't work that way.
Others, however, see Gordhan through less positive lens. Some have questioned the apparent secrecy that came with the proposed sale of a controlling stake in SAA to the Takatso Consortium, which subsequently fell through, while also arguing that Gordhan had displayed a level of moral elasticity as well as arrogance, citing the occasion when the minister had to answer questions relating to Andre de Ruyter's allegations around dodgy senior ANC government officials and their conduct at Eskom.
He comes into parliament, he says, I just want to make it clear here that I'm not on trial. And if there are people against whom allegations have been made, ministers, they must come here and answer for themselves. Now, a morally upright leader would have stood up, would have sat down in parliament and said, these are the people that the Ruyter has mentioned by name. As a responsible leader of South Africa and a long-term standing member of the Mass Democratic Movement, I have alerted the SIU, I have alerted the police, I have alerted the Auditor General to look into these allegations under my request. I have requested the ANC Integrity Commission and disciplinary structures to look into this. Rather than go there and be very vehement, and this is, I want to emphasize, he makes that type of language extraordinarily arrogant, protecting crime that is in progress.
Labour union NUMSA has long been openly vocal about Gordhan's term as Minister of Public Enterprises and has argued that he's run the DPE ship with no accountability, also suggesting that he betrayed the communist background he once came from.
What we've seen under Pravin Gordhan is extreme suffering of workers and their families in the manner in which he ran these SOEs to the ground. Thousands of jobs were lost at SAA, more than 3,000 jobs lost at SAA, more than 900 jobs lost at SA Express, more than 800 jobs lost at Mango, thousands of jobs lost in Mpumalanga as a result of the foolish decision to shut down Komati Power Station. Hundreds of experienced engineers and workers that have left in droves from Denel as a result of mismanagement of that SOE. So if we have to analyze his performance, we can look at it in terms of the body count of workers. And you can see it's just been a massacring of jobs.
Regardless of the particular view one may have of Gordhan and his contributions, the career of a once activist and cabinet minister with considerable longevity has now come to an end. With a political power-sharing arrangement now the order of the day for the 7th administration following the recent national elections, it remains to be seen who will take over the reins at the Department of Public Enterprises and whether in fact the department will continue to exist as we've come to know it. Nompumelelo Siziba, SABC News, Johannesburg.